Hello there. Still getting used to that. Michelle G, Bendy Stitchy. My pronouns are she, her, and you have stumbled onto my end of the year finish parade. Now, hopefully, I'll have at least one more finish before the end of the year, but that won't be one that I can show you anyway because it's a model. So basically where we are right now, we're sitting at 76 finishes. Barring the possibility of maybe another Quirky Quaker or two after I finish my model, we are done for the year. Appropriately so, because today is December 24th. So there's 1 week left in the year. Could probably bust out 5 more Quirky Quakers. Maybe. So what I like to do is a finish parade at the end of the year and then a whip parade at the beginning of the year. Keeping it all in parade season, which is one of my favorite times of the year. Like, forget Christmas. I want parade season on Flosstube. Show me your whips. Show me your finishes. Show me the things that you have kitted up that you might want to start next year. Parade everything. I'm so excited. So I have 76 finishes, like I said. I might or might not cut this in the middle to make 2 manageable chunks so that you can have an intermission and use the restroom if you need to, or have a snack or whatever. But let's get going. So what I will strive to do with each piece, I don't know if I'll achieve it, but what I will strive to do is tell you the name of the piece, the designer, my start and finish dates, the fabric, and then flosses if I use the called for or if I made changes. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. About a third of the way through, I'm probably going to forget to start saying some of that stuff. But we will start strong. We will. My first finish of 2023 was... oh, geez, the hanging threads. I can't. My first finish of 2023 was the temperature sal. This is from my friend Christy. And I'm going to struggle this whole video. Watch me struggle with trying to make this linen behave. All the linen. It is what it is. This is my first finish of 2023. This is the temperature sal from my friend Christy at Christy's Corner Needlework. I started this on January 7th, 2022. And I finished it on January 1st, 2023. This is stitched on 40 count fresh eggs linen from X Jew Designs, and I stitched it in all of the called for DMC. The changes that I made were, you can see up here in the words, and then you can see on some of the days, like here, for example, I don't know if you can see that, I outlined, because I live in Eugene, Oregon, and it rains a lot. So I wanted to kind of show how much it rained, and I outlined the rainy days in a Cosmo iridescent floss. And I loved working with that floss, and I loved the effect it added. The other thing that I loved about this temperature sal is I changed all of the doodads to match what was going on in our lives at the time I stitched it. So I put a bird in February for February. I put a printer in February because we spent almost the whole month printing charts for market. And then the other thing that I did is anytime that I was out of town, I put a little sign above the dates, and I used the temperature from where I was. So this temperature right here, how it's cold, cold, warm, 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 cold, 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 it's because I was in Nashville for Nashville Needlework Market. Down here, pretty much the same temperature as Eugene because I was in Portland for the weekend for Pacific Northwest. Down here, I was in Bend for the weekend. We were all in Bend for Rosie's soccer tournament. And over here, we were in Michigan. So there were some really cold days in Michigan. But you can see I did a block M. I ended the year with a little Millennium Falcon. Most of the doodads I either designed or adapted myself. That Millennium Falcon, I bought that on Etsy. It was too perfect and too small. I just didn't realize, I didn't take stock of who the designer was. So I just realized that I have all of my finishes laid out in front of me. I don't have any place to put the things when I'm done talking them. And this one right here, just in case you're wondering, we saw the Crash Test Dummies in concert. That is not the Crash Test Dummies logo, okay? This is the logo of the actual Crash Test Dummies that people put in cars. That's not the band's logo, but I didn't want to take a crack at stitching Ellen's face. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Ellen, if y'all come to Eugene in 2024, I will try to stitch your face under my temperature sal. Is that a deal? That's a bribe. I don't know where to put this. In my lap it goes. Okay, so that was finish number 1. Finish number 2, I gifted away. So finish number 2 is... Look at me, I lost my spreadsheet. I'm out of... I can't handle my life. Finish number 2 is Needles Dance, and this is by Ink Circles. It's a collaboration. Ink Circles, Hands On Design, and Summer House Stitchworks. And I started, this was an older whip of mine. I had a goal this year to finish some of my older whips. So I started this May 27th, 2021, and I finished it January 9th, 2023. It is on 16 count lipstick Ada from Fiber on a Whim, and I used Classic Colorworks, most of the called for Classic Colorworks, except the original design was called for on a beautiful like cerulean blue fabric. I didn't like the texture of the fabric, so I changed the fabric to this hot pink, and then this blue color here was originally designed with hot pink, so I just inverted them. And I framed this in a frame from Michaels, and it fit perfectly in a 5, I think this is a 5x7. This is an 8x10. It fit perfectly in an 8x10, and I gifted it to my friend Sam that I work with, because she was all over commenting on my Facebook regarding that. And sometimes when someone comments up your Facebook, like, you just know you have to gift it to that person. So that was finish 2. Finish 3, here comes our market finishes, right? Because market is in March, Nashville Needlework Market. So in January and February, I scramble to get ready for market. Not this year, though. The only thing I have left to design for market this year is my freebie. Everything else is already designed, and that feels good. So this was my freebie for market last year, 2023. I called this January Market Freebie. And the reason it's called January Market Freebie is because it's part of a series. It goes with January Basket and January Willow House. And you'll see January Willow House here in a second. But I started this on January 21st and finished it on January 22nd. This is 25 count natural linen from Zweigart, and it's done in the same 4 colors of Gentle Arts that you'll see for all of the rest of these. This frame, incidentally, is from Modern Wall Framing Company on Etsy, and you can order any size frame you want from them, and they'll take this. They'll take whatever frame style you like and make it into the size. So let me show you. This is finish 3 for the year. Finish 4 for the year was January Willow Sampler. So you can see that I bought the frames from the same place, and they're 2 completely different size frames, but out of the same material. Cohesive. It's a cohesive collection. So this is January Willow Sampler. I started it on January 10th and finished it on January 22nd. Again, it's on 25 count natural linen from Zweigart with 4 colors of Gentle Arts. And this was one of my releases at market this year. So the inspiration for this piece is from a sampler. It's actually from this basket. And it's from a sampler that I purchased. And the sampler is really funky because it's a band sampler, and a lot of the lines are stitched over 3. So I'm trying to chart the sampler, but it's giving me some troubles because I want to chart it as stitched, which means charting it over 3 on linen, which is not something that my computer software is very happy with me for doing. And they're not all over 3, so I'll figure it out. So I took elements. So this basket is off of that sampler. This border is one of the borders off the sampler. And this 4-sided stitch is off of that sampler. This JS, because my friend, that's for the model stitcher. If my piece has initials on it, I always let the model stitcher put their initials on it because they stitched it. But the house I created, and this band, and this, and this, I think that border might be on it. I don't know. But so this series will be like pieces taken from the sampler combined with my own pieces. And the next piece in this series I want to be a blue-footed burb sampler because I made that bird up and I like it. So that was finish number 4. That went to market. It did okay. Finish number 5 was my bestseller at market. This is my Demon Tea, aka Chatter Broth. It's called Chatter Broth. It says, gossip enjoyed by some over their cups. And this is an actual, I have a book of, I think it's 17th century slang or 16th century, some century slang. So this is Chatter Broth. I started it January 21st and finished it January 24th. This is stitched on 40 count Tibucina linen from Fox and Rabbit, and it's used the Treenway silk pack. It's part of X Stitch the Rainbow from 2023, which was a collaboration of 25 designers. And we all took this silk pack, so 4 colors of Treenway silks, no supplemental colors, just those 4. And the theme was tea. So we just did what we did. And I call this Demon Tea because with the colors that we had, I made the people have gray skin and they ended up with red eyes. I just leaned into it. It's weird. My favorite thing about this pattern is that the steam says gossip. And I really like it. This framey thing, so I just finished this. This isn't even fully finished. I took this to market, not even fully finished. Like, I have the back piece, but right now the back just looks like that. But I just hung it on this. This is, this board is made by Holly and Hunter. Holly is Stitchy Pros, and she designs stuff, but they also make accoutrements. So I have a bunch more of these, and I would like to stitch, like, I'm calling it 4 skeins to stitch them all. Of course, because there's 4 skeins of floss. Have I started any of the other ones? No. Will I start them? Absolutely yes. But I want to finish them all as like these little hangy ornaments so that I can either hang them somewhere or I can hang them off of this and I can display a different one all the time. Because that's really cute, right? So Holly and Hunter, Stitchy Pros, they make all kinds of goodies like that. Yes, I'm shamelessly plugging. I will forever shamelessly plug my friends. No shame. 0. None. But that was my fifth finish of 2023. Number 5. Number 6 is my first Quirky Quaker finish. So I have a big piece of fabric and I put a bunch of Quirky Quakers on it. Well, I plan to put a bunch of Quirky Quakers on it. But the first one on this fabric, oh, look out. And of course they're not in a row, right? So I can't just show you the whole thing. My first Quirky Quaker that I finished on this fabric is Quirky Quaker Mousse. And I set up a Quirky Quaker Whip Go. So this is Quirky Quaker Mousse. It's by Deanna of Darling and Whimsy Designs. I started it and finished it on January 25th. You'll see that with a lot of my Quirky Quakers. They're SAFs, S-A-Fs, start and finish. This is 32 count Picture This Plus earthen linen. And the flosses are Roxy Floss Co. Belsnickel and a Brennan Needle Unnamed Brown. Doesn't have a name. And Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Forever. So this was so much fun. I loved stitching this. It's a mousse. It's a tiny mousse. Like, look at how small it is. And it's a mousse. No mousse has ever been this small in the history of mousses. It did not focus. Oh, if my face is in the picture, it won't focus. So that's okay. You got the idea. It's a mousse. Moving on. The next one was my first Patreon chart of the year. This quote was taken from I think she's Canadian. I almost said American, but I think she's Canadian. A Canadian Buddhist. She's a Buddhist priest and teacher. And this was my offering for like Valentine's Day. I was very much thinking self-Valentine this year. And the quote is, "You are the sky. Everything else is just the weather." And I took that and I charted it. This is one of my new favorite fabrics. This is 28 count Fiber on a Whim Dulce de Leche even weave. And I think this is the piece. I started it on the 26th of January, finished it on the 27th of January. This is the piece that began my love affair. Oh yeah, it likes to focus on Alice over there, doesn't it? This is the piece that started my love affair with even weave this year. I became a huge proponent of even weave this year. And this is stitched all in Cosmo. This also started my love affair with Cosmo this year. These motifs are taken off of a sampler that I purchased and that I have since reproduced. The sampler hopefully will be released at market, but it will be, these colors are very much based on the original colors in the sampler. The one I'm releasing at market will be an unfaithful adaptation of that sampler. And I'm kind of excited about that. I love this. I love this piece so much. This is probably one of my favorite finishes of the year. just for the sentiment. Okie dokie, moving on. Now I can show you the other part. That was finish number 7. Finish number 8 is Quirky Quaker Squirrel. And there's the squirrel. If I block Alice and my face, then it'll focus. So this is again on Picture This Plus Earthen. This one I used that same brown. I used that same brown. So the lighter brown, let me just show them to you together. Because I stitched these within days of each other. I stitched this, started on the 27th and finished on the 28th. So the lighter brown down here is the darker brown up here. So that's that unnamed brown from Roxy Floss Co. I'm sorry, the unnamed brown from Brennan Needle. And then the other 2 colors in this one are Third Place and Grinch from Evertote. And those were in the 2022 Tiny Presents box for the end of the year. So love that. That was a same day start and finish again. It won't focus on anything. Like, this camera is smart about focusing on faces, but it's not like smart. It's like dumb smart, my camera is. But I stitched these 2 on this piece of earthen, and I still have all this space available. So I'll probably like trim that off because I love to save my fabric scraps and my weird cuts for Quirky Quakers, right? Because that makes sense. Next finish was actually just released in the October issue of Just Cross Stitch. So I started this on the 27th of January and finished it on the 28th. I called it Autumn Acorns, and it is on 18 count vintage country mocha with Cosmo. And I stitched this and finished it myself. So this is a piece of just some rickrack that I had. And then I used velveteen from Lady Dot Creates and made a little hanging ornament. Super easy, 0 sewing. I glued everything on this is glued together. So if you think you can't finish things, you can. With the right amount of will and the right amount of glue, you can finish anything. But I love this, and I'm so proud that it got into the magazine. I really like it. There's something about purple in an autumn palette. I didn't realize how much I would love it. Also, there's something about just having a thing that's shaped like this. It makes me happy, like this size and shape of a thing. Don't ask me why. Don't make it make sense. It doesn't. The next finish I can't find, which is a little bit problematic for me. I'm not super excited about the fact that I can't find this, but I do have a picture of it. So this is something that I designed for Starlight Stitchery's Dark Academia box. I called this Writ in Water. I started it on February 18th and finished it on February 19th. It's my 10th finish of the year. Again, this is on that 28 count Fiber on a Whim Dolce de Leche, just like this You Are the Sky piece is. I love that fabric. I do not know what I did with this, but it's got to be around here somewhere. I hope. I hope it's around here somewhere. Again, 28 count Fiber on a Whim Dolce de Leche, and I used all of the flosses that came in the box, plus a few Cosmos. So like, you can't really tell in the picture. Well, you kind of can. So this border is like maroon and then purple. Those were box flosses. This green came in the box, and this blue came in the box, and then this dark brown. And then these grays were Cosmo, so that I could make the broken down tombstone. This is still one of my favorite finishes of the year. I really love it. I'm reworking it in all Cosmo so that I can release it. And the all Cosmo version is really very similar to that version. You know how sometimes you see like sometimes you see the adaptation away from the overdyed flosses and it's not that similar. The Cosmo version really is very similar, I think. Okay, next up is Quirky Quaker Butterfly. This is my only, out of all of my Quirky Quaker finishes, this is my only one that made it into the journal this year. So this is my journal. Note to self, the next time I start a journal, I will be taking out pages so it doesn't end up like this. But this was my 11th finish of the year. This is Quirky Quaker Butterfly. There we go. This is by Darling and Whimsy Designs, of course. Where's it going to focus? Right there? This might be difficult. There we go. Started it and finished it on February 20th. It's on 32 count Amaryllis fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics, just very lightly yellow. And I used Karen Impressions, African Violet, and Apple Blossom. And this was part of my Quirky Quaker Whip Go. So the flosses are a little bit thicker than I usually use. And you don't strand them. It's a silk that you don't strand. I gotta take Alice down. She's messing with my game today. But that's really cute, and I'm really happy with how it looks there with the snail. So I'm a little bit appalled that that is my only finish in the journal this year. Like, although I did say earlier this year that I wasn't going to worry about fully finishing anything. And lo and behold, I did not worry about fully finishing anything. Next finish, finish number 12. Whoops. Finish number 12 is another one that I gifted away. This is Chaotic Vibes Only. And this is a chart that I designed for my patrons. So this version here, because you'll see another version later, this version here is stitched on 28 count Desert Sunrise Jobelin. The dyer of that is Little Bird Cottage. It's my friend Ann P. I'm not sure, Fiber Floss and Fiction. I'm not sure if Ann is still dyeing fabrics, but this was beautiful. And again, note my ongoing love affair with Even Weave. This is stitched all in DMC, and I finished this into the front page of a journal, and I gave the journal away during the Smalls Exchange at Stitch North. So Lisa got this, and she really liked it, and I think she's finishing things in the journal still. So I'm really proud of this stitch, and also super happy that the recipient, because you're nervous, right? Like, a journal is kind of it's a niche. It's not like a pillow. Everybody loves a pillow at a retreat, but a journal is very much like, here's your small, now make some more stuff out of it. Like, I gave this person work to do, and Lisa has really embraced that, and she likes it. So I think she's having a good time. Okay, that was finish number 12. Finish number 13 is also something that I gifted away. This is Let's Make a Statement number 1. This is designed by D's 20 Stitches. I started this on February 10th and finished it on February 26th, my 13th finish, like I said. This is on 20 count Aida that I dyed myself. That Alice that's hanging over my shoulder that keeps messing with the focus is on the same fabric. And I stitched this with mostly Stitchy Box silks. So I'm going to carry the same silks through all of the Let's Make a Statements. I forget what the green is Spearmint. The blue is Arctic. I always forget the name of the pink. And the brown is Heart Moth. And then the white is actually DMC Glow in the Dark, because it glows in the dark. And because it gives a really cool, like, it's almost kind of poofy when you stitch with it. But this one I don't have anymore because I sent it to my friend Julia because they were having a no start year. And I think they made it through September or October before they started anything. But really, really wanted this. And so I thought, well, shit, I can stitch it again. So sent it to my friend Julia. They liked it. And that feels better. I think I want to start trying to gift more of my finishes away, because as you will see as this video progresses, I have a ton of unfinished finishes, right? Like finishes that aren't fully finished. And do I want them all? Of course I want them. I stitched them. Do I need them all? No. And then when Miriam sent me her black work piece made into a project bag and like gifted that to me, I was like, oh, it's on now. Like, I am gifting shit to people. And I'm swearing, so be warned. Okay, ready for finish 14? It's another Quirky Quaker. This is Quirky Quaker Raccoon by Darling and Whimsy. I'll zoom him in so that you can see him, and then we'll bring him back out. He's so cute! Quirky Quaker Raccoon started and finished on February 26th. And this is stitched in Gentle Arts Barn Gray, Soot, and Black Crow. And this piece of Aida was dyed by my friend Sarah, the backward stitcher. I don't think she's really stitching that much anymore. But her fabric dyeing, there's a good light. Her fabric dyeing was beautiful. And then I did stitch kit past this to my friend May. It's so cute. And yes, the raccoon has a crown because why wouldn't she? I just love her. This is so good. I got to get these into the journal. I know I have other things that need doing today, but I definitely want to finish all the things into the journal. Let's not get distracted, Michelle. Okay. Finish number 15 happened. I started this on the way to market, Nashville Market. This was my travel project because I did 2 colors with this. And this is Perky Lion from Miriam of Marumi Crafts with adaptations. So I actually chose this color. This is Stitchy Box Splash, the color of the lion. And then the color of the doodads and the border is Almond M&M's Dusk. And I actually chose the fabric for Perky Lion before I chose the flosses because I wanted Perky Lion on this fabric. But in order to get them on there, I had to squish them. So Perky Lion is supposed to be like this wide, but this fabric, all I had was this scrap of this fabric. So I squished them, and I think it worked out well. Miriam ships it. So I started as close as I could to this border over here to make sure I had room, and then I just went for it. Again, started it on March 1st, finished it on March 6th. So this was a start on the way to market, finish at market piece. Finish on the way home from market. Also hashtag Stitch Asia because Miriam is Asian. And Asia is bigger than just Japan and China, y'all. Just putting it out there. Okay, that was finish 15. Finish 16, surprise, surprise, another Quirky Quaker. I started this on March 11th, finished it on March 12th. This was one of the earliest Quirky Quakers. This is Quirky Quaker Fishbone. And this one might be a little bit hard to see. No, not too bad. So this is on 36 count Picture This Plus Barnwood. And I had this fabric earmarked for something else, but I gave up that project. And then the floss is Cottage Garden Tool Shed. And this was actually my choice for Quirky Quaker birthday sal. So every March, Erin, 2 Martini, and I bust out a bunch of Quirky Quakers for our birthday sal because Erin and I are Marchies and Quirky Quakers are our thing. So I started this March 11th, finished it March 12th, started it the day after my birthday, but no big deal. And super cute. This goes with, Deanna designed that way back in the day to go with my cat Marcel and Park Hopper Bart's cat, whose name I don't know, but way back in the day, a couple years ago when Roxy Floss Co. first launched, Caroline said, would you design a freebie? And she said it to me, and she said it to Bart, and she said it to Deanna. And of course we all said, yes. So Party Cat was my freebie. Probably 2021, I think. Party Cat was my freebie. And then Bart also did a Party Cat. And then Deanna said, if we have 2 cats, we need something for them to eat or play with. So Quirky Quaker Fishbone. So my plan is, these aren't fully finished yet because my plan is to stitch Bart's cat. And I'll use some of these flosses and Tool Shed. And I'll finish them all together in the journal. That's the plan. Will it come to fruition? Who cares? Plans are great. Who cares? All right, next finish is, it counts as a finish, and I don't want to hear any argument about whether or not this counts as a finish, because it does. This is Ars Robotica from Ink Circles, and the reason that this counts as a finish, this is only a quarter of it, right? But this was my project, one of my 2 projects, for the first Most Magnificent Ink Circles Round Robin. And the idea of that, I think it started on a Twitch stream. I don't know where it started. The idea of this is you put yourself into a group with 3 friends and you each choose an Ink Circles mandala and you stitch a quarter of your mandala and then you mail it to your friend and they stitch a quarter. And then by the time all of your friends have touched it and it comes back to you, it's a finish and you've only had to stitch a quarter. Because my problem with the mandalas is I love them, but I tucker out after stitching 2 quarters that are the same or 3 quarters that are the same. I never finish them. But this is my quarter finished. And we're around the loop now. We're coming to the end of the year, so probably sooner rather than later. I don't know. Whenever it gets back to me, this will come back to me. And you can see that I chose Almond M&M's Cherry Blossom. That's this floss. It's so beautiful. And then this is Stitchy Box Bat Orchid is the black. And then this is a Mrs. Sadist Purple. And I actually sent 3 different blacks. I used Bat Orchid, and then I sent 3 other black silks around to my group, and I said, just choose your silk. And then the fabric is 40 count R&R in the pink, which always makes me think of my friend Cece in the pink. That's just them. So totally counts as a finish. 100% counts as a finish. I started it March 12th and finished it March 23rd. My quarter. Counts as a finish because the next time I touch it, it's done, right? It's a finish. Next finish, which is undoubtedly a finish, is another Quirky Quaker. This is why I have 76 finishes, y'all, because Quirky Quaker, right? Quirky Quaker Flamingo. This was started on March 23rd and finished on March 24th by Darling and Whimsy. My 18th finish of the year. This is stitched on 36 count Cafe Misto from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, just a scrap that I had. And I used Belle Soie Pom Pom Pink and Gentle Arts Fragrant Cloves. Just really cute. And then this one was stitched, my friend Steph, whose birthday is March 16th, also does Quirky Quaker Birthday Sal with Erin and I, and this was Steph's pick for her birthday. So, Quirky Quaker Flamingo. I'm just going to stick these all in a different, I'm going to put the Quirky Quakers in a different pile. Oh, I already started doing that, just kidding. I said that like it was a new idea. I already started doing it. Okay. Next finish is another one I only have a picture of. So this is my other entry for my own most magnificent ink circles round robin. This is Cube Root. And I started my quadrant of this on March 25th and finished it on March 26th for my 19th finish of the year. Can you believe I already had 19? I had 21 finishes in March, through March this year. That's wild. I downshifted, I think. Anyway, this is done on 14 count Cardigan Ada from Fangirl Fibers. It was out of Emily's Taylor Swift box. So this is called Cardigan. And then I didn't keep track of all the flosses because I think for sure most of these flosses are all from different dyers. Like, I know this one, this lighter green blue is a Stitchy Box silk. This here is a slightly different color than this. So this is B5200 and this is a Gloriana silk. I think this might be a Gloriana silk. These 2 oranges are both Stitchy Box. But this one is the star of the show. I designed the entire palette around this green. This green is called Moss Boss from Almond M&M's. And it is incredible. This is one of my favorite flosses. Love this. But there's a huge array of different dyers from all these flosses. So I couldn't begin to tell you who they all are. But if I had been using Notion at the time, I could begin to tell you. Okay, next up is... Next year, this is going to be so much smoother because I will use Notion. Next finish, this is finish number 20. This is another Patreon chart. It's called Be the Nonsense. So this is the beginning of these. It's a whole series that I'm doing. And it says Be the Nonsense. That's short for Be the Nonsense You Wish to See in the World. This is done on 28 count Dunes linen from Fiber on a Whim. And it's done in Cosmo flosses. This was my Patreon chart for March 2023. And I took a motif from a sampler that I have that I'm calling Tinfoil Sampler that I will reproduce. And also this border is from Tinfoil Sampler. But then the words, I'm going to put this out as like tinfoil pithies or snarky smalls. So when I finish this, when I finish the series, I'll have the sampler reproduced as a, what do you call it? It's a good reproduction. I'll reproduce the sampler as a faithful reproduction. And then I'll have these little snarky smalls as an unfaithful adaptation. And the finishing on this pillow is by Jolynn at Acorns and Threads. Absolutely beautiful. Jolynn is retiring, but she's training her replacement. So not to worry. Acorns will still be able to pillow things for us. But I never tell Jolynn what to do. I just say, finish it, make it cute. And that's what she did. And she makes the squishiest pillows. That pillow has good squish. This was my 20th finish for this year. I started it on March 29th and finished it on March 30th. Just a small little thing. My patrons almost got this whole series this year. I'm going to have to give them a couple of freebies, maybe in December, so that they can have the whole series. Okay, finish 21. You guessed it, it's another Quirky Quaker. This is Quirky Quaker Elvis Stretch, and this was released in a Under the Sea Fabrics box. So the colors that I chose are faithful to the called for, but these are not the called for colors. So my friend Mari actually loaned me her copy after she stitched it so that I could stitch it. So this is done on 40 count Saltbush from Fox and Rabbit, which is one of my favorite fabrics. And the colors are Night Stalker's Calling. I think it's Rotten Pumpkin is the dark color. Yeah, Rotten Pumpkin from Night Stalker's Calling. Karen Collection is the yellow, and I don't remember the color. But the Elvis Stretch themselves is stitched in a Gloriana Pashmina silk, which is 50% silk, 50% cashmere. It's like the sexiest thing you will ever stitch with. If you haven't tried it, it's expensive, but find something really sweet and stitch with it because it's nice. So none of the called for, but definitely in the spirit of the called for. And I started this and finished it on March 31st for Quirky Quaker Whip Go. And I really love that Elvis Stretch. It's a cryptid. I had never heard of it before Deanna did it, but it's like it's a giant German chicken. It's fine. It's good. Next, so that was the last finish in March, and the first finish in April, because I'm rolling on the Quirky Quakers, was my Quirky Quaker Space Whale. So I started this and finished it on April 1st. And this is a 40 count Cedar River linen. This is actually a piece that Jody gave me at Pinwis 22. And I stitched, this is my Quirky Quaker Space Whale, because you can't really tell, but it's stitched in Moe's Sail Overlord and then DMC Etoile. So you're probably not going to get the sparkle from the Etoile, but I thought like sparkly black combined with a floss called Overlord definitely means the whale is in space. So this is Quirky Quaker Space Whale. And this was Erin's choice for Quirky Quaker Birthday Sale. That was finished 22. 22. So many finishes, I swear. And you'll notice at the beginning of this video, I was like, I wanted to make sure that I finished old things. And so far, the only thing that I've showed you that I did not start in 2023 was that temperature sale and the Ink Circles collaboration. But I really do want to finish old things. So the next one is not an old thing. Finish number 23 is for the Earth Day collaboration with the Stitchers Collective. I started this on April 6th and finished it on April 7th. It's called Worth Fighting For. It's a quote from Ernest Hemingway. The earth is a fine place and worth fighting for. And everything is better if you put some crazy burbs on it and some trees. So sampler border, crazy burbs. I like a stripy burb. And then great trees. It's done all in Cosmo. And this fabric is 32 count dark olive Lugana from Witchelt. And I will release this, but it's one of those things that like, I don't know when, y'all. I don't have my goal or my next project. Once I finish my master's, I'm one class away from my master's degree. Once I finish my master's, my project will be to go through all of the finishes that I've finished, all of the designs that I've finished, and figure out, am I releasing it? When am I releasing it? Does it need to be fully finished? Can I just do a flat lay finish with it? Like, what's the deal? What is the deal? Because I do love this. And I'm loving the green on green on green of it. It was fun to stitch. It took me about 5 minutes to stitch it. So it's a real quick and easy pattern. But we'll just see. I don't have time right now to deal with all that and like the details of it, but I will. I will. Next finish is actually hanging up in my office at work. So this is Small Burbs. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this because the way that it's showing, first of all, this is hard to photograph. Second of all, the way that it's showing on my screen from my other screen is not looking great. So I'm hoping that you're seeing it better than I'm seeing it on this screen. But anyway, this is Small Burbs from Ink Circles, and this was one of my older whips. This was started on May 10th, 2021. I finished it April 8th, 2023 for my 24th finish of the year. This is on 36 count vintage wood smoke from Lakeside Linens, and it almost didn't fit on this piece of fabric because I got this fabric in a grab bag, and it almost didn't fit. These flosses are from Almond M&M Silks. The only one that I can remember is the variegated. So you can see here, there's the variegated floss. This motif has it. The Burbs have it. That variegated floss is called Writer's Chair. And then I pulled out the colors of Writer's Chair to make the other colors, the gray, the pink, and the yellow. So I love this. It was super fun to stitch. It's like so many of my whips this year. I don't know why I waited so long to stitch this, to finish it. I started it in 2021. There's no way that this whip should have almost turned 2 years old before I finished it. No way. But anyway, super happy that it's finished. It looks great on my wall at work. I don't have a picture of that, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Next finish, this is a big one. This is another old whip. So you can see I kind of go in runs. I think looking at my whips and finishes, what you'll see is like, I finish a couple of older whips and then I realize I've been putting off a deadline for a model. So I finish that, hurry up. And then I realize it's close to the end of the month. So I finish my Quirky Quakers. I'm going through this now with y'all. I'm definitely seeing a pattern in myself, and it's a pattern of stress, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's how I get stuff done. Anyway, this is another old one. This is Mighty Oak Sampler. This is from Chessie and Me, and I really, really enjoyed stitching this. It's kind of a complicated, so the thing with Chessie and Me is they love specialty stitches. I started this on March 25th, 2021, and then I messed it up a few times, so this is my second version of it. I had to restart the first one, but this has so many great stitches on it. I stitched on this for hashtag Beck's birthday sal because it's the only whip that I had with a cat on it. Can you believe that? So it has over one. All this is over one. The windows are over one. It has Algerian eyelets. These are eyelets. It has queen stitches. These are queen stitches, which I'm not in love with. It has satin stitching. All the grass is satin stitching. It has all kinds of Smyrna crosses. All of the orange flowers and all of the green leaves are Smyrna crosses. And then the border, I know I'm not doing a great job holding it, but you'll live. The border, you're not going to be able to see it on your screen, which is why it doesn't matter if you screw it up, because you can't see this stitch. The border is called Montenegrin stitch. And I will tell you that Montenegrin stitch scares the heck out of professional stitchers. I will also tell you, I don't know if I did it right or not, but it looks great. This looks great. The border of the Montenegrin stitch looks great. And the friend that I gifted Needles Dance to, she said, "Oh, I really love that. That's what my house looks like." And I'm like, you're not getting this one though. This is mine. You are not getting this one. 100% no. But I love this. This is actually stitched. It came with the 28 count Bayou linen from the Crossed Wing collection. It came with that. Did it come with that? Somebody passed me this, and I changed all the colors. The floss is color and cotton. So this is not very true. Like, it's much brighter than the original is designed, and I love it. I love it. And there's a place over here to put your initials. So I put my initials, and then the year over here. I had to change those. Oh, and the door is Rhodes stitches. See how they kind of stick up? This was just a fun piece. I highly recommend. I've never seen a Chessie and Me that doesn't use a bunch of specialty stitches, and I've never stitched a Chessie and Me that was not fun to stitch. So I highly recommend Chessie and Me. I passed this to my friend Holly, I think. She's stitching it now. try to keep everything sorted. Designs, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I started that on March 25th, 2021, finished it on April 16th, 2023 for my 25th finish of the year. Again, no reason that should have lasted that long as a whip. The next one is a model stitch for Starlight Stitchery. I love that Starlight Stitchery lets me be a part of their boxes because I think I do some of my best work for the Starlight Stitchery collaboration boxes. There's something about being part of someone else's project that makes you step your game up. Like some of my best designs, my Burb box in 2023, that pocketbook peacocks that I designed for that, I'm still so proud of that. That's one of my favorite designs I've designed. Writ in Water that I just showed not too long ago for Starlight Stitchery, one of my favorites. This one, Pirate Quaker for their pirate box. I love this. I think part of the reason I love the Starlight Stitchery boxes so much is because we get amazing flosses from Forbidden Fiber Co. The sad thing about it is that Leanne can't recreate these flosses. Womp womp. Because they're like misdyes. They're like misdyes and overdyes of misdyes and everything. So she only, the cool thing about it is if you get the box, that's your fabric forever, or that's your floss forever. So this is done in all of the Forbidden Fiber Company box fabrics, or flosses. All 5 of the colors that came in the box. And this is stitched on 36 count desert type hand from Fox and Rabbit. I started it on April 18th, finished it on April 23rd. Do not despair if you love this, because I just got 2 models back in the mail from this. One of them using cottage garden threads and one of them using sulky. So this will be released. I think I have it slated to release at Market actually in cottage garden and sulky. So I'm going to probably need to fully finish that. Great. Great. Good. Excellent. Fine. The next piece is something that's really special to me. This I designed in December of 2021. This was my Patreon chart. Half of this was my Patreon chart in December of 2021 after my dad passed. So this is my Memento Mory piece. This half was my Patreon chart, Memento Mory, but then I added to it. And so now it's Memento Mory and Memento Vivere. So remember, we all die. Remember to live. That's what it means. Memento Mory and Memento Vivere. And then in the middle there, that's my dad's initials and his birth and death dates, 1949 to 2021. And again, this is, you can just tell a Jolynn finish from Acorns and Threads. So she echoed the colors here. Like she echoed the colors of half of it here and half of it here. And then she does her beautiful putting together stitch. Alice! Anyway, she does a beautiful stitch in the back to put it together. It's fine. But yeah, I'm really proud of this one, and it was very cathartic to stitch. I haven't released it yet. I keep thinking I'll release it on his birthday, and then I don't. And then I keep thinking I'll release it on his anniversary of his passing, and then I don't. So I'll just release it whenever I release it, right? The fabric is 40 count Cecil linen from Seraphim, hand-dyed fabrics, and it's all DMC. So I love this, and I think even if I never release it, I'm real happy with it. It brought me a lot of peace after my dad's passing, so it's good. And I started that on 12/24/2021, finished the first half. So this was a finish. Like really, this was not a 1.5 year old whip when I finished it on 4/24/23, because I had this part finished and then I just went and designed more. So it wasn't really unfinished, but anyway, finished on April 24th, 2023 for my 27th finish of the year. Holy cow. Ready for more Quirky Quakers? Because I have 3 in a row now. And the funny thing about this is on my Quirky Quaker Whip Go board, I had, for the month of April, my Quirky Quaker Whip Go board was Quirky Quaker Cauldron. And I kept thinking, it's a spooky thing, so I should stitch a spooky thing. So I was like, it's definitely the skeleton. So I stitched Quirky Quaker Skeleton, thinking it was for my April whip go. I started it on April 27th and finished it on April 28th. This is done on 36 count eucalyptus linen from Fox and Rabbit, and I actually used 2 of the flosses from the Pirate box from Forbidden Fiber, or I'm sorry, they're Forbidden Fiber co-flosses, the Starlight Stitchery Pirate box. This was not my Quirky Quaker whip go pull for April. I don't know what month this was meant to be, but I love how it turned out. The stark black and white on this eucalyptus fabric is pretty dang good. So that was finish number 28 of the year. And then I realized halfway through stitching it, that wasn't my whip go call, but I was halfway through stitching it. So I just stitched it. And then I was mad at myself, so I took a break and I stitched Quirky Quaker Seahorse because that was definitely my whip go call for April. I started and finished this on April 29th. Quirky Quaker Seahorse from Darling and Whimsy Designs. This is done on 14 count Aida with DMC flower thread. And this Aida was like, the original color of the Aida is right here, kind of, but I coffee tea dyed it and I kind of burnt it a little bit. So, you know, nobody's perfect. But I think it works out well for the seahorse. It's a little bit crooked. I gotta block it out. But I love, the flower thread is like, I used 2 strands of flower thread on 18 count Aida and it's really poofy. It's really great, or I mean 14 count Aida, and it's really great and poofy. But it definitely needs some stretching. Like, I stitched it in hand and I warped it a little bit. But I loved it. The seahorse actually comes in 2 flavors. So there's this one facing this way, and there's one that you could stitch over here facing the other way, so they're facing each other. But I just stitched the one and called it a day. So many Quirky Quakers to put in the journal. And then, after I got done being mad at myself, I realized it was Quirky Quaker Cauldron that was called for my April whip go. So I started this also on the 29th because I was feeling good about conquering the seahorse. I didn't finish it until 5/2, so this was my first finish in May, finish number 30 overall for the year. And this is done on 36 count mystery linen. I just had it sitting around, and I used Starlight Stitchery cotton and Color Streams silk. So Color Streams is an Australian dyer, and this color of silk is incredibly beautiful. It's just like the best forest green you'll ever see in your life. And now I want this for a forest path, but I don't want to buy it. And this Starlight Stitchery, this cotton is actually dyed by Starlight Stitchery. It was in their Edgar Allan Poe box. But this is my second time stitching this because I originally stitched the model for it. And when I stitched the model, if you look at Deanna's cover, when I stitched the model, I left out these stitches underneath the cauldron. So on the cover of this, the cauldron is floating. That's my fault. Deanna designed it with the cauldron sitting on the ground, and I just left that part out. And I got a booger right on YouTube. I'm leaving that in. I just left out the ground. What are you going to do? Deanna's not mad at me, so I'm not mad at me either. So that was finish number 30. The next one doesn't show up because the next one is Jessie's Hamsa Mandala for the Quirky Quakers Ink Circles Round Robin. So I could not honestly tell you. Oh yeah, so this quadrant here is mine. And you know that, I know that this is mine because when Jessie stitched theirs, they left one stitch right here undone so that when they get it back, they could put that last stitch in and have the joy of having the last stitch. But the way Jessie divided it up was that like this, kind of. Whereas I just cut mine like whooshed, whooshed into straight up quadrants. Jessie made theirs so that we could all stitch one whole Hamsa. And their colors are nothing short of spectacular. This is on 32 count fabric dyed by Jessie, and they did a full color and cotton conversion. The only one I can remember is this dark one is Lava Rocks. It's the only one I can remember. But I started that on 5/3, May 5th, 2023, May 3rd, 2023, and I finished it on May 5th, 2023. So I was stitching this on the way to Stitch North. It was my 31st finish of the year. Yowza. Yowza. We've had a lot of finishes this year, y'all. This is what happens when you stitch. It's a ton of Quirky Quakers and also a ton of Quirky Quakers. Also, I stitch a lot, right? I put in hours of stitching on the weekend. So now let me set the stage. So now we're at Stitch North and I'm stitching with friends and everything is amazing. And I am sitting at a table with Deanna, Darling and Whimsy, the pick of my heart. And of course, I'm going to be stitching nothing that I planned on stitching, all of the Quirky Quakers. So this is Quirky Quaker Frog, which is like the cutest frickin' thing ever. This is stitched on a piece of 14 count Aida. I think it's Brin and Needle fabric. My friend Christina gave me this. It was in one of the freebies, one of the gift charts. Deanna designed a little bear freebie for the retreat, and it was in a package with this fabric and some Brin and Needle floss. But Christina stitched her bear teeny tiny, so she didn't need the fabric. So this is stitched on Brin and Needle Aida from Christina. And this Cosmo, I can't remember which one it is. One of the flosses on this is a variegated Cosmo, and one of them is a Brin and Needle. But you know, honestly, hell if I know which is which. Because it all looks very blendy. One of these flosses is a Brin and Needle. I think it's the floss that I did the frog with. This is my poison dart frog, by the way. And a new friend that I met called Mona, she gave me that Cosmo floss. I think, the Brin and Needle came in one of the freebies from Deanna, but I think the Cosmo is the 3 doodads up here and then the doodads around the outside. But they coordinate really well together to make a poison dart frog. This was a start and finish on May 6th at Stitch North, and it was my 32nd finish of the year. I just love stitching things with my friends. And then this one is a very similar story. This is Quirky Quaker Cow. It was my 33rd finish of the year. It's tiny because I was wandering around looking for a piece of fabric, and Nati had a piece of 40 count aged grapefruit. So she was like, here, take this. And then my friend Amy and I decided that we were going to stitch Quirky Quaker cows, but I did mine as a chocolate milk cow, and Amy did hers as a strawberry milk cow. And we both used Roxy Floss Co. and Brin and Needle. So this was started on May 7th and finished on May 8th. So I started this on the Sunday of the retreat and finished it on Monday Tattoo Day. And it was my 33rd finish of the year. And it's really small. If you compare the cow to the, not that we compare here, but the cow is much smaller than the frog, which I also love. Finished 33 of the year. And again, we've only really finished 2 things that were started, 3 things now that were started before this year. But that's a good segue into finish 34. Is anybody tired yet? I'm not tired. I hope you're not tired. Finish 34 is one of my oldest whips. This was my New Year, New Start in 2021. This is the Secret Garden. And this is from Stitching Book Club. I started this January 1st, 2021. And again, why did I wait so long to finish it? Why did I not finish this until May 20th, 2023? It's 80 by 120, y'all. It's DMC. It's not that big. This is a mystery fabric. I know what it is, but I'm not telling because I don't like this dyer anymore. It's whatever. The Secret Garden from Stitching Book Club started on January 1st, 2021, finished on January 20th, 2023, stitched on a 32 count mystery fabric. When I picked this up to finish it, I had the bird and the word the, and then like a little bit of this red bird. So this is what I did, just so you can see. This is what I did with my spreadsheet. So I have a picture of what it looked like when I picked it up this year and if I finished it, which is really kind of cool because then I can say I only had this much done and I just busted this out. And I probably stitched on it for like a grand total of 10 or 12 days or something like that this year. I mean, I wasn't tracking yet through Notion, but I did not work on this very many days before it was finished. And I love this fabric. And I would really like to finish this like on the cover of a journal or something. That would be really fun. But we'll see. We'll see how I finish it. Okey-doke. Next That was, what did I say that was? 34? 35 is Memento Mori again. So this is the same exact design, but all different colors. And I will tell you, so at market, I was talking with Leanne of Forbidden Fiber Co. And every year in May, she does a benefit package or box or charity. She does a fundraiser for the American Society. It's the suicide prevention it's the big suicide prevention charity in America. For her dad, in honor of her dad. And she said, I know you just lost your dad. Is it too soon? And I said, I would love to participate in this with you. So I adapted my Memento Mori chart into Leanne's Forbidden Fiber colors. And I think, I mean, you can say what you want. You can say they're equally good. But honestly, it's better in Leanne's colors. It's more vibrant. There's more life. It's happier. I was at a different place when I chose these colors. I didn't choose these colors, actually. Leanne put together a set of flosses. This is so good. I love this. And I put my dad's initials on it again because why not? This colorway is available, but only through Leanne at Forbidden Fiber. She can sell you the PDF. No problem. We have a deal. Because all the proceeds continue to go to the charity. So I started this on May 21st and finished it on May 22nd. It was the second time I stitched the thing, so it went pretty fast. This is done in Leanne's flosses, and the fabric is Tea and Teutons, whatever, from Brin & Needle. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, because I don't really need two. Maybe I'll give one to my brother, but I don't really think he needs it either. I don't know. There's just the two of us, so I'm not sure what I'll do with that, but that was finished 35 of the year. Wild, right? We'll do 2 more, 3 more. Half of 76 is 38, right? We'll do 3 more and then take a little pause, potty break if you need it, intermission if you will, and then continue. The next 2 are both Quirky Quakers. Surprise, surprise. I'm telling you, I don't finish 76 things in a year unless half of them are Quirky Quakers, okay? So this is Quirky Quaker Jack-o'-lantern from Darling and Whimsy. I started and finished it on May 27th. This is my second time stitching it, again, because I did the model. Look at that cute little bat, OMG. And I stitched this on 20 count, I think, Natural Ada. And I used Sulky 172 and Sulky 4003. So this is Sulky's. I don't think it's 20 count then if I used... That doesn't look like Sulky. Am I? This has got to be 18 count if those are Sulkies. Whatever. It's cute. The point is, with the variegated floss, I stitched up and around and then up and around and then up. So I stitched the jack-o'-lantern in circles, and that's how he got his up and down stripes. So finished 36 of the year, started 527, finished 527. And then I was on a roll on 527 because finished 37 of the year, started on 527 and finished 527 is Quirky Quaker Stocking. And this is in Forbidden Fiber Co. Aurora Borealis, 3 of Hearts, and Vintage Ornament. So the green is Aurora Borealis, the red is Vintage Hearts, and the pink is, or the red is 3 of Hearts, and the pink is Vintage Ornament. And what I was doing with these two, well, I don't think I stitch kit past the sulkies, but what I was doing with these ones is I was trying to get my stash of extra flosses down. So like non-repeatable flosses, one-of-a-kind flosses, everything like that. I was trying to get my stash down, and the way that I did that is I stitched a Quirky Quaker, and then I stitch kit past it with the pattern and the flosses. So I forgot who won this, but I sent them my pattern and flosses, and I loved that. It's a little bit light. The pink is a little bit light for the fabric, but it's fine. Again, finished 37 of the year, started and finished both of those on the same day. That was a big stitching day. I went ham on my stitching that day, as one does sometimes. Okay, finished 38. Finished 38 of the year is a repeat, actually. This is Chaotic Vibes Only again. But because I gifted away my original Chaotic Vibes Only, and because I want to release all of these, hold on. Because I want to release all of these as one pattern, I stitched it again using the same flosses and the same fabric. So this is, once again, 28 count Dunes from Fiber on a Whim. This is done in Cosmo Floss, and it was my March Patreon, and I started and finished it on March 28th. So same as the other one that I showed, but just using fabric and floss to match this one. And you'll see there's a bunch of these. So I wanted it all to match for the model. So that is the first half of the year. I can't believe 38 finishes. That's the first half of the year. I am going to take a break here and start a new video next. So I'll be wearing the same outfit. The light will be the same. Everything will be the same, except you don't have to watch an hour and a half of finishes, and I can take a drink. It's still coffee, but I'm starting to get a lot. It's getting very talky in here. So I will say thank you for watching the first half of my finish parade. If you're interested in the second half, it's a lot more of the same. Models and Quakers and old whips, oh my. But thank you for watching the first half. If you come back for the second half, thank you even more. But happy parade season, and I encourage you, everyone, to use the hashtag #ParadeProgress2023 and watch a video with a whip parade or a finish parade or anything parade. Snap a picture when you're done with the video and say, like, this is how far I got during Aaron 2 Martini's whip parade. Watch another one, snap a picture. This is how far I got during Cam the Stitcher's whip parade, right? And just keep building. I get so many finishes that way that I'm not even expecting to get. But also remember to get up and walk around, because I will sit at my computer for 10 hours watching whip parades. Not sorry. But I will see you in part 2.